We've got some new members today. Daniel Beatty and Tommy Ledford's not here. Howard's, he's here. And Bobby Goins. We'd like to welcome them. I'd like to welcome everyone from the road department and the other county commissioners that are here. I'm going to ask for a approve of the June 22nd, 2022 minutes. Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. And we'll just get right into the agenda items. A, stop sign study at Kyle Lake Road and Old Kyle Lake Road.
Yesterday, we had a meeting with some TDOT people and an engineering company, and as you know, we had previously had a complaint, and we've had them through the years. This weren't the first complaint we've ever had at that intersection, and the problem is, one is congestion, especially at school time when school's starting and when school's stopping. You got those school buses that are wanting to pull out there. Traffic is so heavy on Spring Place, they can't, they have to sit there for the longest, and so does the public. And as you know, sometimes people get tired of waiting and they'll take a chance and they get hit. So, but anyway, my personal opinion is that we need a traffic signal there. You know, possibly it could be one of those where it operates more often during school hours. You know, during the day, you may not need it to hold traffic too long on Spring Place, as the traffic on Kyle Lake Road is, you know, not that heavy. But in the mornings and evenings it is. But I met yesterday, it weren't on this matter, but it was the Local Roads Safety Initiative. And we had TDOT people there. We had representatives from Squire D engineering firm. And I brought that up. And I asked, could there's some money available to spend on county roads? So I asked the question, could we use it on a state highway at a county road intersection if it was to help the safety of our county road? And they weren't sure about that, but they were going to do, they were going to check on it. They were going to do a study, like a traffic count, accident data, and all that. And they were going to at least look into it. So, you know, I don't know that anything will become of it, but it could.
Okay.
And if not, you know, we would have to, you know, pay for it ourselves, study and everything. And I don't know what they cost now. I know back, say, 10, 12 years ago, they were over $100,000 for just an ordinary traffic signal. So I'm assuming they're could be even double that now.
Yep. Go ahead, Howard.
You talk about intersection of Spring Place and Kyle Lake.
Yes.
That was my son at Brentwood Estates, had the wreck out there the other day. That had the wreck out there the other day. And of course, I'm going to say this because I say what I want to anyway. But we've got a problem with getting bus drivers in Bradley County. In any county, we've got problems with getting bus drivers. And we end up with inexperienced bus drivers. It's just like anything else. If you don't have it, well, you get what you can get, and that's what happens. And I think that's one of the big, that's what happened out there, I think. I'm not for sure I'm saying that because I wasn't there when it happened. But it's a bad situation when you got buses coming out on a main road like that. And there's a lot of buses that come through there. I used to drive a school bus through there. And But it's a dangerous intersection, and it does need a light or something, because you're sitting there and the people on Spring Place got the right of way, and you got a bus sitting halfway in the middle of the road on Kyle Lake Road. Then what do? You try to make your decision of what can be done, or which goes first, or whatever, and then it causes accidents. But you're right. We need some type of warning signal or light or something.
Was that the bus accident? Is that the intersection? Yeah. It was okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I would have mentioned that yesterday.
It totaled my son's truck, but he had the right of way because he was on Spring Place Road, and of course the bus pulled out and he just turned too sharp. What happened? Misjudged. It's what he did. There's plenty of room there to pull that bus out and turn and go back towards town, but that didn't happen, and he just tore the whole front off the truck there when he pulled out. So, and he was sitting still and the bus pulled out. So, if it's a traffic light, why, of course, it might not have kept from having an accident, even though there was a traffic light there, because he just turned too sharp when he pulled out. But anyway, it's a dangerous place. There's a lot of traffic on Spring Place Road.
It is, and I don't know, but what it might not be a good idea to have the school people to ask the bus drivers to go out on Truett Road. And I know it's out of the way for some of them, an inconvenience, costs more fuel, but until we can get something done, that might be the best option, is to have the buses go out the other way.
They'd have more room to
yeah.
Buses.
Yeah. I mean, I think we would have to assure the school people that if they choose to do that we're not going to assume that the problem is solved, because we do need to stay on the problem at hand, which is at Spring Place and Kyle Lake Road. And I think we would need to commit to them to stay on top of this to try to get something done.
I don't know why they changed that. They used to, the only ones that come into Kyle Lake Road was Taylor's School and stuff like that every morning. They went into there.
Yeah.
When all the buses went out, they always went out the other way.
Right. Well, I got my first complaint on it. Actually, it was before the school bus wreck, and that's about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And a fellow asked me what could be done about it, and I told him, it was kind of out of my hands as a road superintendent, but I said, we have in this county, we have a representative or a senator who's over the transportation committee. And I asked him, I gave him our senator's number. And anyway, I asked him, I said, just call our state senator. He's over the transportation committee, and tell him just what you told me, and I'll call him. And he said, well, I'm going to get up a petition. And I said, well, that might help. I don't know. But anyway, I felt like that our senator, being over the transportation committee, could help us with that.
And is chairman of that committee now.
Yeah. Right. Do you know if they will reappoint the committee members on the transportation committee? And why I'm asking is I'm wondering if our new senator or state representative will be on that committee as the one that's on it right now.
They don't know that because Mark Hall was the chairman, vice chairman.
Right.
Kevin's
right.
Position now, and you don't know who they'll put back on that committee as chairman. I would say that they would probably put Dan back on there.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, we hope so.
Yeah.
He's been a lot of help, not only
for
anybody.
Right. I'll do all I can, to resolve that problem, but I don't know what I can do. Everything goes back to money.
Well, when we had the one at put on the other traffic light out there, Spring Place, Brook and Cherokee Road. We ended up, the city, I think, has control of the light, the electrical part of it.
Yeah.
And out there, that was a problem at the time, but anyway, they eventually come up with that point. Remember that. But anyway, I think the city would be involved in that too, and I don't know why they have to be control on the light. Volunteer electric couldn't be part of that too.
Right.
You know, we put a lane in there at Lad Springs and Spring Place too, and there's no telling how many lives that probably saved too. It helps. Commissioner Cry.
Yes, I wanted to add on Kyle Lake Road and Kyle Lake Lane, there, Joe Moore, or Dan Moore, that's Joe Moore's son, late Ben Moore's grandson, controls that farm there now, and he called me complaining about speeding. Early in the morning, parents are late getting their child to school, and then in the afternoon, they're going like a bat out of hell to get out of there, and it's almost caused a couple of wrecks at the very minimum. I just wanted to add that what I did was call the sheriff's department, and they've had radar set up out there. I don't know what effect that's had. That's been about a week now, so there is an issue, and I went out there myself, and it's like a dang racetrack out there. Those people could care less about the speed limit, but I just wanted to add that.
I know I'm like Tom is too. T-Dot's our friend. I know I'm one that'll may ask. I've been told no 100 times, but I told yes 1,000. So they're our friends. So that's where the money starts with. We'll keep on to them. Anybody else have anything else with this?
Do we need a recommendation on it, Mr. Chairman? There's, make that request also for the commission?
Well, we can go about it either way. Like I said, those guys from T-Dot were there yesterday, and they took down a lot of information about the issue, and they said they would look into it. In fact, he said, we will order a study to find out how many fatalities, how many wrecks, and all that stuff. So I don't know that we need to do anything right now. I think maybe staying in contact with our Nashville people would probably help. Just put a bug in, everybody that sees them, put a bug in their ear and say we'd appreciate your help on it. Tom mentioned there, and I don't know if we want to keep that as a separate deal today. It's on the same road, but it's a different problem about the where Kyle Lake Lane comes into Kyle Lake Road, because I've got a little bit to say on that if we're going to treat it separately.
Okay. Anyone else? We've got letter B, Doyle McCracken, Brook Bryson Road Southeast.
Could we, before we do this, can we
talk about Kyle
just
Lake?
1 minute
Okay.
about Kyle Lake Lane?
Yes.
And you were on the road committee previously. Was that ever a three-way stop at Kyle Lane?
I can't remember if it was.
All right. The reason I ask is after the election, I'll call his name, Aaron Ware. He's a contractor, construction company. He called me and he said, Tom, he said, can you do anything about that three-way stop at Kyle Lake Lane and Kyle Lake Road? And I said, well, I wasn't really aware there's one there. And he talked like there was. He said, when I pull up to that stop sign with my low boy pulling it behind my truck, he said, my low boy's on the bridge. And he said, cars can't get by it, pulling out from there.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I was assuming that there was a three-way stop there. When I got here, though, there's no three-way stop there. And I just wondered, was it ever there and they took it down or what?
No, I can't remember. That's something we may need to look at?
if, you know, if we are considering making that a three-way stop, we need to consider that if you do have to stop with a low boy, you're gonna block traffic on that bridge probably. So that was all I had on that.
That's that little road that comes out there by Moore Farm, right? Comes
Yeah.
out on the Cow Lake
Yeah.
Road.
Yeah.
They, looks like they'd have a stop sign there anyway, 'cause that's the main road. And it, at the main road, going to the same place, we turn into.
Yeah, that's the main road, but what he said was that they made that a three-way stop. People on the main road, Kyle Lake Road, had to stop also. Kyle Lane already has a stop sign. They have to stop, and I don't know why they would have even thought about changing it, but I don't know.
Let's look at it.
Okay.
Absolutely. Anyone else? Doyle McCracken, Brook, Bryson Road.
Called to survey a property of Farrington Hall. He was going to give his father-in-law acre or so there to build a house on. And I went to the planner and he said we would have to extend Brook Bryson Road at least 50 feet and build a make it private road, bring it to county standards. But when we surveyed it, we found out that the county road now that the county has built and maintained goes about 60 feet onto his property. Tom and I met out there yesterday, and I've got the drawings here what the property owner is willing to do to give that property to the county road system if you will take it. And that way they'll have a way onto their property. It's already there. Tom might have something to say about it.
Well, what the deal is, where, if you measure our road, where it stops, it just stops. There's no cul-de-sac, no driveways, nothing to turn around in. So I'm all for doing what Mr. Cracken wants to do is let him quit claim us a deed and accept how much footage that is. I don't know, 50, 75 feet or so. And he's also going to deed us not really a cul-de-sac, but at least a place where a school bus or mail carrier could turn around. Because who knows, you know, when time may come when somebody moves into on that road that has kids and they want the bus to go up in there. So, but I'm all for what he's wanting to do, and I think we should do that. Let him, those people, quit claim us a deed for that, and we will accept it as a county road.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right.
They're willing to give deed that.
Okay.
Keep in mind on this deal here, there's really no expense to us because it's already paved. So all we need is a deed to it. Yeah.
So we don't need a vote or anything on that, do we, Lori?
I believe you would need
Some,
a
okay.
motion to recommend to the full commission, authorization to accept a quitclaim.
Okay. Did I hear a motion?
I'll second it.
All those in- Go ahead, Bobby, you got
Let's see, 412 Brook Bryson Road Southeast.
anything else, Bobby?
I don't know if you'd want to do that all in one motion or not, but probably, I don't know, like I say, I don't know if it's one or two motions, but one is to accept it as county property, but you also need to have a vote on it to accept it as county road. Probably could do it under one resolution, I assume.
get the property, first something on the property, then it's to the commission, once you do that, then
Could you, does that drawing you just showed them, does it show what you was wanting to do, Doyle?
Yes,
Okay. But Doyle, you and I talked about taking some, you know, how it went straight in. All right, we also talked about
Yeah.
taking some to make an
Yeah,
L right
Bobby.
there, L shape. Yeah. Can you redraw that?
yeah.
To where
We
we
could,
can have that?
We could, deed this 50 by 50 to the county, then put an easement,
Have it other, as an easement?
have an
Well,
easement
that
for
would
the
work
bus,
too.
bus to turn. I don't think the bus goes there now, but the mail runs there. There's
Right.
boxes there.
I mean, I don't know about the legalities of that. I mean, I would rather have it, the whole caboodle deeded to the county. But, you know, the county attorney may say, no, that's fine, what he's wanting to do.
I don't think
It
the
probably
property owner
is.
will have any problem with doing whatever you would want to do.
I-
We could make it 75 feet wide.
Well, no,
that-
I think the width that you've got going in is
The
good.
width is
It's
good.
just, when he pulls up in there, he's gotta have somewhere to back, and he would be backing on private property
back.
otherwise. I think we do need that.
I could talk to Mr.
You wanna
Hall and he
reread
could
it?
make that 50 by 75 wide. That would settle that.
Well, yeah,
Cause his driveway going out to his house is already there.
yeah.
It's paved also, so
Yeah.
that wouldn't be a problem at all.
we need to consider right of way. What kind of right of way you want on there? Right now, we just put on all of them, don't we?
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
probably not 50 foot on Brook Bryson. I believe
No.
it's probably a 40 at the most.
no, but you could deed us
Yes,
50 on
we
his,
will,
on his
yeah,
property.
we'll deed the required distance, yes.
And do you think he would
Yeah,
be willing to do
I'm
that?
sure Mr.
I believe
Hall-
we would, I believe everything would be more, in order if that were deeded to the county as well.
Okay, I'll check with Mr. Hall and let Tom know. Okay, is that
That'll
all right?
That'll work.
Okay,
Or it works for me if it does them.
yeah.
Yeah. We,
It's a large tract land. No, it just stopped. Brook Bryson dead ends right there at the property.
He needs to-
But they didn't know where the property line was when they built the road, so
Where
they
they-
built it about
yeah, where
60
they
feet
back
over
in.
on the private property.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll read that again, Lori, what we've got so far, so everybody's on the same page.
Recommendation to authorize the acceptance of a quitclaim deed for this property. And then that way, whether it has the L, I mean, we're gonna have to involve County Attorney Freiberg
Mhm.
in this process, and if Doyle can get to us the amount of property that Tom requested, it can all be contained in that quitclaim deed. So maybe not get bogged down into the lengths of it and that kind of thing right now, since we're still a little bit unclear, but just authorize the quitclaim deed. What do you all think?
I think so too. Yeah, we had a motion and second.
Yes.
All those in favor, say aye. Ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. McCracken, for coming in.
Thank you.
Agenda C, Brad Drive project survey was completed and project was placed on hold. You been out on this one, Tom?
Sir,
Have you been out on this one, on, Brad
no,
Drive?
no, not in several years.
Okay. That's something we may need to go out and have a look
Yeah,
at.
that's, I guess you'd say that's my baby there.
Okay.
What happened, I'll give you a little history about it. It was one of those roads that was taken into the county system, but there was no road there. So a fella, Mr. Delk, called me. He wanted to put a double wide mobile home on it, but he couldn't get it in because there's no road there. So they had their properties surveyed. So at that time, I asked the county engineer, do we need to have a survey done on that so we know where our road is? Well, the road list said 50 feet right of way. So what we did is we took those survey markers from those property owners, they were in, the stops were there, and we just pulled off 50 feet from them, and we built a road, a gravel road. Well, now they're telling me that the road is not in the right of way. So, I mean, I don't know what happened, whether the surveys were wrong or what happened. But anyway, that's my baby, and I'm gonna have to raise it. I mean, I don't know the answer to it. Is that the problem with the road? It's out of the right of way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I went out there with Mr. Delk here. It's been months ago, but yeah, it's a kind of a mess.
Well, he's not the complaint, is he?
No, I don't think so.
Chairman,
Yes, go ahead.
you know, like, how come? Oh,
I don't. I don't think we ever got anywhere on it, did we, Miss Moultrie?
The June 22nd minutes state that the survey has been completed, but stated the project is on hold due to lack of manpower.
by the way, had been completed.
The survey,
Survey.
and that was June 22nd.
I would do the road. What it meant.
What, when you say does it say what work was to be done? I'm not,
No, it just says
think
that,
so.
Superintendent Knight reported the Brad Drive survey has been completed, but stated the project is on hold due to lack of manpower.
yeah, I mean, I guess, I mean, I don't know. Like I say, we need to go look at it. But it sounds like that I need to build a road in our right of way. And I don't know if it's, has messed up somebody's driveways or what. I don't know what it's done, but I'd like to go look at it, look at the survey stakes and see where they're at now.
When I was out there a few months ago, it looked like there's a lot of property owners building houses on that street too. I know there was at least 2 or 3 that I counted when I was out there.
I guess we'll just have to start from scratch, go out and look at what the survey
let's
shows now. And maybe the surveys were wrong back then, or they got moved or something, I don't know. But that's all I went by was their survey stops. It's a straight road. There was no curves in it or anything.
Yeah.
So, and you could see from one end of it to the other.
We'll put that one down as a field trip. We'll go look at that one. Anybody else on Brad?
Mr. Beatty, are you gonna bring up Leonard Hilton's issue, or you want me to? Go ahead.
Out there on Old Georgetown Road, Candace Creek Ridge Road,
Mhm.
they got a big problem. I went, started up Sander Night. What it is, you come out of Old Candace Creek Ridge. Oh, when you come on the old Georgetown Road, come out on Candace Creek Ridge Road. There's a hill there. When you pull out, them cars come flying over. I done been hit probably 50 or 60 times. I ain't exaggerating either. But you sort of see the other way, but you can't. But I said something to her about a stop sign, and she said we had to go through a lot of channels to get the stop sign. You know, I don't know. Tom might know. I don't know. But
Just need to go through these 14 commissioners right here.
yeah, and so she come up with putting flashing lights up there. You know, bad intersection. 20, I think it's 25 mile an hour. But no, they ain't slowed down a bit. Cause about a week or so ago, I went through there, and I just pulled up there. I hadn't never pulled out, and a little white Ranger come flying over the hill, probably doing 60 miles. And if I'd pulled out, he'd hit me. And the sheriff department has been out there setting radar some, or they supposed to. And but they can't be there all the time. But I think we need a stop sign there. And when they put the flashing lights up, she said she's gonna put them bumpers, you know, in the road and everything. But they never did get them in for a long time, and they said they'd come in, but said they didn't have the people to put them up. Of course, she went off. Yeah. So I think we need a stop sign there real bad. No exaggeration. It's in the 2nd district.
What was that, Georgetown? And
Old Georgetown Road and Candace Creek Ridge Road.
go ahead, Mr. Thompson.
That's you in the sheriff's department, that's your stop sign.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think the county
Hold on.
commission votes on the stop sign itself. We can recommend, I'd have to refreshen up on that, but I believe that's the way it is.
I was told that they had to go through the state,
No,
and
No.
it'd be hard to get
No.
one because that's the main road you putting one on.
no.
But on down High Star on Kansas Creek Ridge Road, Hooper Gap Road, they got stop signs there.
Same situation.
Yeah,
Same
same,
identical
yeah.
situation. We did it on Hooper Gap. Like I say, there was no fatalities. We were just proactive. We know the danger is there, and I don't think there's been any fatalities at this location. But I think it's a matter of time,
Oh yeah,
and I believe that.
they've
I
been
don't think
several
that-
wrecks there. You know,
Yeah, I
when
don't
people
think
come
the
over that
flashing
hill.
lights
Yeah.
doing anything. I think it's got to be a three-way stop, and rumble strips too.
Is that your recommendation?
That would be my recommendation. It has, the danger has increased because the construction on Highway 60,
Mhm.
there's so much traffic anyway, and then now it's slow. You've got that school, you've got the construction, and everybody lives out toward Georgetown, Birchwood. They're trying to avoid that heavy traffic, so they're using that coming and going away from town and coming into town. So that intersection has become heavily traveled. So I think that the danger has increased a lot since the construction began. Yeah, they're taking back roads to get off that main road now.
You're saying a three-way stop and bumper.
Rumble strips and three-way stop. And we would, if we do it, we'll post a sign saying effective a certain day and time that it will become a three-way stop. And I think we need to leave the flashing light up. I think it's yellow now, but I think we need to change it to red to indicate that it is a stop.
Did them strips come in, them bumper strips? Or do you know?
I think we have them all the time. I mean, I can't imagine why they
They
wouldn't have
said they had to order them. Had to get them.
They do, but, I mean, it's like a 2-day turnaround. It's not, they're not coming from Japan or anything.
But I've been trying to get that stop sign there for, I'd say, a year.
Yeah.
And that is what they've been telling me over at the road department.
Leonard Hilton would be here today. He was one of the persons lives nearby
Right.
that uses it, and he would be here today, but he's had some surgery and he's not able.
We need a recommendation from Tom, for us to make a resolution. Do we need to make a resolution on that, or?
I don't think a resolution, perhaps just a motion would suffice to make a recommendation to the full commission.
I'll make a motion.
I get a second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Carries.
I'll look and make sure, but I don't think the state has anything to do with that. I really don't. No. And if they did, I couldn't see them stopping it. But anyway, I'll look into it and see if I can find out anything.
Excuse me, Daniel, your motion was to just accept Tom's recommendation and present it to the commission? Okay.
We'll let Daniel carry it since it's in your district too.
Okay.
Anything else? Ian? Okay. Agenda item D, 5065 Sparrows Point Drive status. Issue was previously referred to insurance. And I'm trying to think the gentleman's name because I talked to him.
Is it Whitehead?
Yes, Whitehead.
Whiteside,
Whitehead, yeah.
Whitehead. I think this was a property that one of Sandra's men, I think it was a backhoe, I think they messed up and then one of his drain lines coming off that run beside his house.
I've been out there, I think, 3 times already and did measuring and everything, and they replaced a tile under the road, a cross drain, and they tell me there, and I wasn't there, but anyway, they tell me that there was an 18-inch pipe under the road that had rusted out, so they replaced it with an 18-inch with 2 concrete catch basins. So I went out there, and the road floods during heavy rain. It floods, but I did some measuring. The openings on these catch basins are 4 inch by 87 inches. All right, and there's 2 of them. If you multiply that out, that's 600 and something square inches. I don't remember the exact amount, but 600 and something square inches. All right, you got an 18-inch pipe, and if you figure the area of that, it's 200 and something square inches. So you're trying to put 600 and something square inches of water through a 200 and something square inch pipe. It don't work. So we have got to increase that, the size of that pipe. So we're going to have to pull it up and replace it with a bigger one. Now, Mr. Whitehead has spent about $10,000 on his property, and he put a 36-inch pipe at the back of his property to drain it. So that tells you how much they missed the target there.
So you're saying that's something that the road department's gonna,
We'll have to eat that one, yeah. We'll have to go back and
Mr. Whitehead will be excited.
do y'all know anything about the insurance, turning it into the insurance? I'm not familiar with that.
I think the last time I talked to Mr. Whitehead, I think he was in contact with the insurance company.
And actually, to do this work, now what I might have to do by law to work on private property, I have to get the full blessing of the county commission. well, maybe not full blessing, but at least 8 of them, to approve me doing the work, because we will have to get on his property to, by virtue of the water going over the road and not through the pipe, it has caused some pretty serious erosion, and we'll need to go in there and correct that.
I got a question on that since we're talking about getting on private property. There's a lot of questions has been about private property. And do you have to have a letter from that property owner relieving you of all responsibility, or liabilities?
Howard, things seem to have changed since I was in here before. We were in Franklin for orientation here a while back, and they were talking about, you know, working off a right of way, and they discussed some things about. They were telling us, don't do it, don't work off a right of way. So I asked the question, because this comes up almost weekly at the road department, and I asked, can we cut a dead tree if it's on private property, yet it's causing a danger to our road if it falls? They said, do not cut that tree. You can cut what's above your right-of-way line. If there's limbs hanging out over your right-of-way line, you can cut those. And I have a hard time, thinking I can't see a judge sending me to jail or fining me for protecting the public. But that's the law. That's the county uniform highway law. So and this is going to get crazy as time goes on, because there's going to be, just like working out there on Mr. Whitehead's property, I'm going to have the commission's approval to do it. But if I'm like doing something that would improve their property a little bit, I'm supposed to get reimbursed money from them for our time, materials, labor, everything. So I don't know what's happened that it's that way now. You know, used to, if there's a tree, 2 foot off the right of way and it was a danger to the public, we cut it. We didn't worry about it. But now it seems like we may be under a microscope. People are watching what we do. It's not as much fun as it used to be. You know what I mean? I want to protect the public, and it just seems crazy that I can't cut a tree that poses a problem to the public. I don't know if there's a way around that. If you could do a one-time deal to vote to allow me to work on private property, if it's not for the property owner, if it's for the good of the road department and the public safety, I don't know.
I think the guy had a letter form, relieve you of liability. I got of liability that would protect you at least at some point. But we've always been told that you can't get on private property and do anything. But if you've got water problems that come off of the road and get onto private property, and that's it comes off of the county road and does that,
Yep.
then there's been several cases that we wasn't allowed to get on
Right.
private property and fix that problem. But there's a lot of problems like that around. I don't know if we're opening a new can of worms or what we would do, but I think we would need a letter to relieve you and the county of all liabilities by being on that property.
Well, for example, a tree. Now, there's no law about this stuff other than the county uniform highway law that deals with the road department people. But case law says that if there's a dead tree, on private property, and the reason I know this came up, we had a fatality, where we were in court. Well, we actually had a case where a tree fell on somebody, and of course, we won that case because they ruled we weren't responsible for it. Well, city of Knoxville had a case. Their public works department had a tree, but it was on private property, and they didn't cut it. It fell, and somebody was injured by it. And the judge rules that even though the public works department had knowledge, knew it was there, it still weren't their responsibility to cut it. They won the case. They didn't have to pay anything. So that's big. But still, that doesn't help me to sleep any at night, knowing that there's one about to fall on the road.
Well, as long as I'm commissioner, I'd always want Mr. Collins and the road department and this commission to get it run through at least legal to protect y'all too.
Yeah.
Mr. Cry.
I'm the one that brought Sparrows Point up a couple of times. It's out in 2nd District. Very familiar with it, but I think we've gone down this road on private property, and it's pretty ironclad. I would suggest that we get the county attorney's opinion on anything we do that gets on private property, because it's been a very touchy issue. This gentleman knows all about it that owns the property. I've gone over it.
One of the biggest issues that we have concerning working off a right-of-way is drainage. We may have a drainage structure, say it's a big pipe or aluminum bridge or box covered or something, and it's functioning properly. But on downstream, there's beaver dams, and they've got the water dammed up, and the water can't flow, and it causes the road to flood. Well, we can't go on private property to bust those beaver dams or clear out the stream or anything. And I don't know how you go about getting a property owner, because they'll always tell you, I don't have the resources to do that. I don't have the money. I don't have the equipment. So I don't know. I mean, you'd have to go down a legal route, I assume, through the county attorney to get them to do anything.
I was in court last week with our county attorney, and I asked her if we'll put her on the thread with emails with the road committee. She said she'd be glad to sit in with our meetings from now on. That was a question. We'll have Crystal sit in on our meetings after today from now on. Good. She's a smart lady. So is this something you think we need to, we definitely, for Tom and his crews to go on private property, it'd have to be, and I know run through the county commission, but run through the right channels of the county attorney. That's something you think you want us to do, right through them?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll put 5065 Sparrows Point Drive then and find out some legal questions on it. And if we have to bring it up to a vote with this commission, that might be something we do at another date. Let's move on to letter E, 1000 block of Freewill Road assessment. Pavement pulls cars off the roadway. I don't know. We know anything about Freewill Road?
Where's that at, Tom?
I'm not sure.
I don't either.
This is new to me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I don't know either where it's at. I just know Freewill's too narrow anyway. Whole road.
Quick question about Freewill. When they annexed that property behind Prospect School, did they take in the Freewill Road?
They took in part of Freewill Road
Right.
and Murraytown Road. I think I'm right. Am I right, Lord?
What?
They
do you
did.
know what part?
I said they ordered took it in all the way from where they annexed to Harrison Pike, but they
I
did.
agree with you 100%.
They did.
Well, my daughter Shannon here lives on that road.
Yeah, I know what
And
she
she doesn't
Mhm.
know if her road is city or county. and I don't know. I was told that they annexed the roadway too, but
I know they did where they're gonna build a subdivision at in there. I know they took in so much there. I can't remember whether they went all the way to city,
right.
out there. I really don't know either.
I
Offhand,
tried to look it up. It looks like it turns on Fennel Road and
Yeah.
then goes down and makes a left on New Murraytown Road. And so they've annexed partial areas.
Yeah.
I have the interlocal agreement. I'll send it to you so that you can see it's got that.
Okay. Okay.
Mr.
I
Crow.
think, I recall reading all that because it was in that annexation sense, that they annexed Freewill Road up to where the old Collins Plumbing place was that fenced in Cleveland Utilities, because that's city property. And, they annexed the road up to that corner of that, but, we need to look at the paperwork on what their plan of services that they presented, but I think that's what they wound up doing, and he's correct. Fennel Road back around to Murraytown. But I think that was the way it was presented.
but they should have took it in all the way to Harrison Pike because probably got a quarter of a mile left there. I mean, I'm guessing around the corner.
Go ahead.
Every what they did, they done it to benefit themselves. So, just look at it that way.
Okay.
We'll get some ruling on that also and find out.
I probably can
Okay.
contact Bentley or somebody that probably would know. I think it's, I think they did annex the road up to the property. Is it on?
She's got
Yeah.
the information on where.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna skip down to letter J, the Zeke Westfield and Lori Perrin. They've been here, and I should have got y'all before now, and I apologize. Y'all want to come up and talk? Zeke Westfield and Lori Perrin, county-owned property near Craigmiles Street.
My father
Okay.
as well, Wayne Kersey.
Good to see Wayne too.
Yeah, I'm not positive of all of Zeke's issues, but this is in the East Cleveland. I thought it was called God Edition, but on my surveys it says East Cleveland. I own 3 properties there, a couple of rentals, and then my home. And my father owns quite a bit of property there as his residence. And around my area, and I'll give you an example, I'm at 1255 and 1230 Craigmiles Street Northeast. He's at 870 15th Street Northeast. And then I have also a property on 1050 12th Street Northeast. And practically surrounding, we own several lots there, so, but behind and down beside practically every lot we have is either an unopened alley that I went back to Sandra Knott. I've also talked to Bentley Thomas and asked them, can we get this alleyway closed? And the answer I got was, we don't know who owns it. It's never been turned over to the county unless you can prove it. And I'm talking about the county, not the code department. And so this all kind of happened during the election time. And so then I called up Tom and asked him the same thing. And he's like, I'm not real sure, so that's the reason I'm here. And then there's also a street, and it's actually a street, and it's 50 foot wide that goes down behind East Cleveland Church of God. And then my property is connects back to that. And then you go across Craigmiles Street, and that's my father's property, my property, and then Zeke Westfield's property, who we're referring to. I don't think he could be here today. And we've been told, apparently Zeke's been told that is a natural waterway, which I have never heard that before. But on my surveys, it shows that it's 14th Street and it's 50 foot wide. And on my father's survey for his property, that same street shows to be that Mr. Brown, the surveyor, he went back way, way back. And he cannot prove ownership of anything on that street. But what we're proposing, because we've maintained it for, my father's lived there 58 years at 870 15th Street, and I've owned the property for 40, well, about 35 years behind it and behind the church. And all of the people there are all in agreement that they'd like to take on that property because we maintained it anyway. And it does have city sewer in it, but other than that, we have used, it's been our yard. And there's a terrible drain problem that goes down through there, that we would be willing to fix if we just had the ownership of it. In addition to that, other than that one, the one behind my lot on 12th Street, I have no access to a driveway. My house is built, it's a 51 and a half foot wide piece of property. And I'm barely, this is a really old house. It's a really old Westfield's house. Like, I don't even know how old it is. But I am property line to property line on the house. The alley is 10-foot alley, I think. I think Mr. Collins told me that in some part there it goes into 3 feet. My survey shows 10. To go into the back of it, I don't know how to get there. Sandra not tell me go 10 feet from your stake in the ground and put your road in there. Yours to maintain, it'll be public property. Go cut your road. I have a problem going onto somebody's property that looks like the back of their lawn and say, okay, I'm getting ready to cut a road so I can have a driveway. Because in the front of the house is right of way, pretty much all the way up on the bank. And the bank is probably a good this much, and here's the street. And that would be on 12th Street, which is supposed to be 20 feet wide. And I just need some answers of what I can do because what I'm doing right now is I'm using the property of the lady next door to have a driveway from the house. Am I going to park on the street? Is that going to work? Because apparently works on 15th Street, but we won't go to that issue today. You just pour rock into ditches and just use it as your own personal driveway. But I have a feeling if I start parking my rentals 3 cars on the side of the road, there's going to be an issue. So what do I do with these alleys and these uneven roads? And what can we do about them? Because it seems that if you just take like this little square right there in that area, it's just full of them. Alleys and I've got one that shows on the GIS that it's already been given to me at 12:55. Nobody told me about it, which I'm fine with it. But is it true? Because if it is, I'll get it re-surveyed and put it onto my deed. So it's got a lot of issues, and we just my dad would like to build something, a small garage. He can't even do that because do we go from unopened road? Could we get this unopened road? Apparently it's whoever wants to put it there because you look down behind this like through with this one, 3 blocks down from my father on 15th Street. It's a double wide got put back there, literally sitting in the right of way. The whole thing was burned, but there's buildings sitting all in this 50-foot right of way. There's currently 2 buildings I know that are sitting in it. And then there was, how did somebody even get a permit to put a double wide right of way?
Exactly.
So I just want to know, what's the use of this? What right do we have to this? Can we get it put in? We'd prefer to get it put into our property. Pay the taxes. We're maintaining it anyway, but we would like to do a little more, like maybe putting in some drains. This same property runs through Mr. Westfield's property, which is what he's wanting. he has another issue, but I don't, it's got that, there's a huge power line that just that goes down Forest Avenue, down to that substation. I don't think he's probably on that one. I don't think you can build within so many feet of a, electrical, the electrical lines.
Is
So
this-
mainly, I'm just here about the open streets and alleys.
It's gonna be a Bentley Thomas
I
question. Is
I went
he-
to Bentley.
You
He
did?
sent me back to,
Bobby?
Wouldn't that be a Crystal Freiberg?
the county
Question.
attorney.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
I don't know. I'm just starting with,
could we send that to Crystal and see what? I mean, he knows more law than we do.
Go ahead, Huck.
I got, this goes back, where we were discussing having meetings at the road department and having them here and whatever. But, we need to go back to the old ways, and when we get through with the road committee, is go out and look at these things. And we need to go as a committee out and look at them, and that's the way it used to be. And that's what needs to happen, because we can sit here and read this all day, but it's like driving. If you don't ever drive a car, well, you can read all you want to. But it's the same thing with here. If we don't see it, we don't know what we're talking about.
yeah, and they
And-
did that at one time, and it was, all this was supposedly taken care of back when Carl Collins was, I don't know. Carl Collins.
He was supposed to close the piece of right away from the church. We all signed the papers and everything. And I own both sides of it for a block. And it's a ditch. That's all he can make of it. So we put a road, get on each side, see him put road down to it.
Send it to Chris.
You'd have to put a big tile on it, secure the water, 'cause there's a lot of water.
But I'm not opposed to,
Anyway, we all signed, we got all the people to sign opposed that part of that road that goes from, I think it's called George Street, down to where behind East Cleveland Church, and on the next block, and then comes into Westfield. He owns one corner. And we wanted to close the deed back to us. Which I don't care if they tax, I'd be paying tax on both sides of that.
Well, Scott, yes, absolutely.
yeah, we were told we couldn't do that.
It's never been opened up, but if you wanted to open it up, the way that I understood, you could go in there and build your, cut your road down through there and open it up.
We don't want it open there, well, I want closed.
Do you have a neighbor behind you?
On both sides.
On both sides?
Well, I do. I mean, I do. I have East Cleveland Church of God, but they're fine with splitting the road. But I was told that we couldn't build anything or put a fence there. Now Zeke Westfield, which this property
Yeah.
was just purchased, it was owned by Gilbert Lyle.
Give her some legal,
He purchased,
'cause I don't
and
know.
that fence has been across there and in that 20-foot since my grandfather, Carl Ledford, owned my property.
Would you like a fence to do there? Close it up?
We just wanted to know what we can do.
I own both sides of it, I could just open it up.
He doesn't want a road there. I'm the one who's needing a road behind 12th Street and alley.
I think we should send it to Crystal and get some clarity on it, and then that way, if you, I see that too, Mr. Beatty had a good point too, if you own the property, I don't know, it's yours, but I'm not a lawyer either.
Well, you know, there's a city sewer drain that runs through there.
Now, who owns it? Wayne owns part of it and you own part of it, or what?
Depends on which part you're talking about. Behind East Cleveland Church of God. Is
Okay.
me and East Cleveland Church of God.
Okay,
Then it's across Craigmiles Street. My father owns both sides.
okay,
And then the Westfield owns it with the Browns.
uh-huh.
With the Browns.
You have to go up
So-
there with them. I think I've seen.
It's not city.
I ain't seen you in forever.
I mean, we're in the county, definitely. We're where the city starts is where the, I don't know what you call that, is it the county city housing on 15th is? That on the left side of the street is the city. On the right side of the street, the county goes it until you go to the railroad tracks. Which, how that ever happened, I have no idea. How the county is one side and the city is one side of the street. That's how it is.
Lori, did I hear you say a while ago that there's a sewer system on one of those alleys?
The sewer system goes down the middle of Fort.
So is everybody over in that area on a sewer system?
They can choose to if they want.
Oh, it's there. It's available.
Come on.
Do you know if almost all of those alleys over there have a?
It's not an alley. It's none of the alleys have a sewer system in it.
Okay.
It's the streets. Yeah, it's 50 feet. Here's the property I own. Here's the 50-foot right of way that's unopened, and right here's the East Cleveland Church of God. My dad is all of this right here. This is my other property. So, to give you an idea, it's like it's a mess, is what it is.
I'll agree with you.
Yeah, this one right here does have the sewer line running down, because that's the one I'm connected to, and that's the one he's connected to. And right here, if you look at this property, it's the same deal. Like, here's the church, here's the 50-foot 14th Street. There is sewer going down there. And then here's my property, and then I have an alley right here that I won't shut off. No. And then right here is where my father lives, and he owns these pieces right here. That's my piece of property. That's Mr. Westfield's property. And then, you see how they just kind of went back here and just kind of on the GI. Yeah, because they actually. An old piece of property. Well,
measured out to be like 3 feet. And then the rest of it was like 10 feet. Right. Where did you get that? Okay. Okay. Well, what we showed this morning, and I had it to bring, and I picked up the wrong one.
I think you're talking about behind my other property, 1255 Craigmiles Street. That's what I was saying.
The one where you've got the house, but you have no parking? It's behind it. Is that the one? That's the one I pulled up. I thought that's the one we were pulling up.
Behind this one I own right here. If you go behind this one, which here's my house where I live, here's the 1255. Now if you go to
Okay. Hmm. I like it. You get a lot of stuff done. It may take a little longer, but it's okay. I'm gonna ask
Thanks,
Tom what
guys.
he. Hey, thanks for coming in. No, come in anytime.
No, I do. We go again.
No,
He and I have just went through tire situations.
we'll work on this situation too.
Thanks.
Okay, you're welcome. Let's back up to letter E on the 1,000 block of Freewill Road assessment. Pavement pulls car off the roadway. Is that something we need to look at on that, Tom? Let's. Says the pavement pulls cars off the roadway.
On Freewill Road.
It's 1,000 block. That may be something.
Says the old minutes say that the road is thick and
I live right off Freewill, but I don't know.
I don't know.
Exactly where it's at. I will look at it today.
Hey, what? They're constantly wrecking at her house. I mean, all the time. She's put up more mailboxes probably than anybody in Cleveland.
So that's one that we'll check on. We'll
What's
go
your
out and
box
look at it.
number? I mean, 240?
2040.
20? Probably be toward Hopewell then. Some more.
I don't
make her knock on.
Yeah.
who does.
He got knocked down Saturday night. Barely hanging on.
Letter F, 15th Street, no parking sign request. Need details to confirm need. I don't know. I don't know what part of 15th Street that was. Do you
I
know
rode
where?
by there and looked
Yeah.
at that. There is a truck. He's put a little gravel down on the shoulder, which is not much shoulder, and his truck is probably about 2 foot out onto the roadway. So we do need to put up, I guess, a no parking sign and get him to move it. That's a question that I guess I've got for you, Tim. Do we have to have no parking signs to enforce a no parking law?
I don't think so. I don't want to answer it though and not know for sure.
Do you know, I know out on the interstate, if you park your car on the shoulder and trooper sees it, he's gonna slap one of these little red or pink stickers on the back window. And I assume that's giving them some time to get it moved.
Yeah.
Can we do that out in the county? And this came up just recently. There was a car had been parked on a county road. It wasn't out in the road, but it was on the right of way. And I think it was worrying the people it being there. And I sent them y'all's way. I said, you know.
Was that out on Frontage Road? We had
Yes.
one here up Frontage Road and
Yeah.
sent the traffic unit out there to check that out. But with it not blocking with
It was what?
law enforcement, we can't, if it's not like hanging out in the roadway like Frontage Road, if it's off on the county property.
Well, that's pretty much what I told them. If it's not presenting a hazard to the people,
Yeah.
you know, if it's not causing the traveling public a problem, I really don't know that I have any reason to move.
What we did with that, we sent a county officer to find who the tag came back to, and what happened, the engine was blown.
Okay.
So he came back on Wednesday. I don't know if it's been moved or not. Was it moved, Tom? I hadn't been
drove
out
by
there to look either.
Wednesday at noon, it had not been moved. I have been there about 2 weeks now, parked in the same place, covered with leaves.
Yeah, that's,
Plus, your about 89-year-old lady is beside her. Up in the woods.
just another need we need to look at, Howard.
If it's on no, if it's on county right of way, I'd call tow truck and have them tow it in,
We
let them
tried
pay
that.
the bill. That's the
Couldn't
best
do
way to
it.
get off right. Well, I mean, if it's on right of way, that's what you're supposed to do, isn't it?
Yep, they gonna send us a bill.
Well,
I don't wanna pay the bill.
well, let them come through the county. We'll get it to the county attorney.
I think what Tom might be referring to is like the state highway patrol. You go down the interstate, you see a green sticker
Yeah.
one day and a red sticker the next couple of days later.
Then they
I
tow it
think,
in.
that might be what Tom is. We have no policy like that in the county.
Right.
And I'm thinking too is deputy law enforcement experience. I'm thinking too, if it's on the property owners, they can tow it at the owner's expense, the tow bill. But when it's on county property, if it's not, our guys can tow it if it's in the roadway blocking hazard for the roadway, but not if it's on county right away. We can't touch it. No, I'm pretty sure that was brought to the sheriff. That came straight from.
You take it junkyard and sell it and collect your money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got other problems with that one.
So another one on 15th Street, we're gonna, on the parking signs. You said you'd been out there, Tom, looked at the,
Yeah, it's out close to where Lori and Wayne's problems are. And going back to Lori's problem, there was another fella's, he came to the office about his problem, which is the same as Lori's. There's an alley that he goes through his property, and I'm not sure, I really couldn't drag out of him what he wanted. I couldn't understand if he wanted it to be a road or if he wanted disperse of it, you know, divided up between the residents or what. But I told him, I said, you know, I'm on your side. I'd like to get it settled once and for all, because these alleys pop up quite often. That's two since in 6 or 7 weeks that's popped up since I've been here this time. And you know, and I like I say, I hope Crystal can shed some light on what we need to do. Do we need to quit claim them back to the property owners, or do we need to? They're not roads, so I can't work on them. And Lori was wanting me to build a road on that one, so she could come off of it to the back of her house. And I understand her problem, and it is a problem. But I told her, I said, it's not a county road. It may be county property, I don't know. And that's pretty much what it shows up as being. Because when you pull up something on GIS, if it don't show an ownership by somebody, then Judge Puckett will call it county property. Ain't that right, Howard? But anyway, that's the way I've always been led to believe. If it's not somebody's, it's the county's. If it's in the county now, it might be different in the city. And I got one more thing, unless anybody's got anything about that. That won't take but a minute. School work. Well, it kind of goes back to that working off a right of way. Now the law is, like we discussed a while ago, I can't work on private property at all without the commission's permission and without reimbursement. Same applies for different entities, especially schools. Not especially schools, but any other government entity. I can't work on them either. Now, a lot of people say, well, it's county property, and that's true. But my law says county roads. So, and we got to keep that in mind. I would love, and I'm not just saying this, I would love to do everything that the school system wanted. I'd love to do everything that the sheriff's department wanted, but I can't. My budget won't allow it. I don't have the time. I don't have the manpower. And I've had, just this week, I've had 2 calls from the school system wanting signs, wanting us to furnish them and put them up. I can't do it, especially now. You know, I'm just now digging into the budget and seeing where we're at. Things, you know, and I knew they were. I knew asphalt was a little more now than it was when I left. I thought it was a little more. Okay, it's a lot more. But anyway, what I'm saying is our budget's going to be very tight, and I don't know for how long. I mean, you know, that depends on if the county commission wants to give us any more or not. But we can't afford to, spend money out here. If we do anything for the schools or anybody, I'm gonna have to have the county commission to approve it, and I'm gonna have to have that entity to reimburse us. And that's as simple as that. I don't mean to be mean or anything, but that's just the situation that we're in right now. Yeah, they have reimbursed us. But a lot of what's going on nowadays, I think, is, and it's not something new, but if a student does real good or does something special, they'll name maybe the driveway for 6 months or 9 months or something. And then the next year, they're going to take that one down and another name goes on it. So, it's a never-ending thing. And I'm going to talk to Dr. Cash about it and let her know that, we can no longer do these sort of things without reimbursement. And to be honest with you, like the project they took on out in Hopewell, that was a bit much. My allegiance is to the road department. And that's what I was elected to do, is to give people good roads, safe roads. And I would love to help them if we have time. But I want to take care of the roads first. And when somebody comes up to you, for example, this is just for example, Tam. Somebody comes up to you or Steve one and says, you say, we need this parking lot here extended. We need it gravelled and paved. And we could do it, if y'all approve it, promise to give us back the money. But here's what you need to look at. Because you're getting the road department to do it, you may not be getting the best deal. Here's why. We pay our people pretty good money. In most cases, we probably pay our people as good, maybe even a little better than some of the contractors' workers. Okay? And the contractor that you may reach out to, he may make his own asphalt. He's not going to have as much money in his asphalt as what we're paying for it. So if we're going to do this on a reimbursement basis, you might want to get estimates from different contractors to see that you're saving money by getting the road department to do it. And on top of that, you're taking groceries off of some employees' table when you do that.
We've had that problem before because you've got contractors out there that privately owned, that does work every day and hunts work every day. And you get into a situation like schools or anything else that want things done. Well, actually, you're taking that away. If you do it, you're taking it away from the private contractor. And there's been a lot of situations where that contractors have complained about that and that knew about it. And we had one over at Truett School one time. It was Truett there instead of Lake Forest. And we done some work over there, and then the contractors come back and said, well, why didn't we get the bid on that job, or why didn't we do this? So you got some controversy there through private enterprise versus county or city. So you do have some problems there sometimes with constituents, people.
Well, for example, in Bradley County alone, you've got like 6 different paving companies, 3 different companies that make their own asphalt. So, I'm thinking that with that kind of competitiveness, you're going to get some pretty good prices, probably a whole lot better than we could do, cheaper than we could do it. So I just keep that in mind, as different schools and whatever ask you to do things. Ask them to reach out and get some bids. And I don't care to figure up a cost for us to do it if they want to. But you know, our benefits are so much better than a lot of the contractors are, and you got to take that into consideration when you're figuring your reimbursement.
Another thing, Mr. Chairman, you take in consideration too that we need road work.
Yeah.
We got 800 miles of road or whatever that needs worked on, and we need that a lot better than we do done stuff for the county, whatever. But we need to. I'm with you. We need to stick to the roads and make sure that they're done right. And of course, we got a lot of roads in bad shape right now. We need, and I know that's a burden on you because of the revenue, but I know you'll bring them up if you can, so.
There's enough work to go around, ain't there? There's enough work to go around.
Yeah. And this being the first road committee with, Howard's been on it before, and I don't think Bobby's been on it while I was here, but I want to say that I'm glad to be a part of y'all's committee, and I hope we can get accomplished what we used to get accomplished. We had fun too. We cut up and carried on, and but we got the work done. We would do like we did this morning. We would go into the office and talk and discuss problems, and then around lunchtime we'd take off somewhere, Golden Corral or somewhere, or Cherokee Restaurant or somewhere like that, and eat a good meal, and then we go out and look the rest of the day. And some days we wouldn't be done. We'd have to take Roy Smith to the office at 5 o'clock because he had to go to church that night. But you know, and our day wasn't done. Some days we made a full day of it, but we got things done, and that's what I would like out of this committee. Us work hard together, have fun, and go eat good, and get things done. And I would like to say, I don't mind having the commission meetings here. I think there's times when we need to have them at the road department. Like today, you know, there was a lot of stuff we could have looked up on GIS, but we don't have it here that I know of. I don't know what you got here really, but anyway, there's a lot of stuff we can look up there, have access to it right there in the conference room, and sometimes I think we just need to have them there.
It's good to be transparent, but it's good to get the work done too, isn't it?
And it's easier for me, and I don't know about y'all. You remember, Howard, we always had a day set aside. That was Wednesday. It wasn't a certain Wednesday. We didn't have one on the third Wednesday or the fourth Wednesday. But when we called one, it was Wednesday. And we all tried to work our schedule around that Wednesday. If we knew somebody wanted to meet with us on another issue on a Wednesday, we'd tell them, well, we can meet with you if we're not going to have road committee, you know. Road committee came first. But anyway, if y'all want to do that, that's fine. Just don't do it on Fridays. We're 6-day Adventists. Yeah.
We've got 3 more here to go. Brentwood Estates assessment. Postal Service deemed the roads hazardous and ceased mail delivery. We know anything about that? Anybody?
I'm not sure where Brentwood Estates is.
Is it off South Lee Highway?
Oh, up the big steep hill. Yeah.
We'll mark that one to go look at.
Yeah.
Letter H, Chatta Valley Paving. Contract was canceled due to inadequate workforce.
We've ordered the garbage bags to cover up the signs until we resume that.
Well, we were getting a lot of calls wanting to know when we were gonna start, and I think most everybody out in that area knew that, it wasn't gonna be done this year, that they had canceled it. So we put garbage, we left the signs up, so they'll be there next spring. But we covered them up with garbage bags. So, and we're gonna do it next spring, but I've been crunching some numbers on it. Sandra had figured it to be costing like, I think it's 1.1 or $1.2 million to do it. And I don't really know what she had planned as far as the mix goes. But I've run the numbers on it, and I think I can do it without it being state aid money for somewhere in the neighborhood of $600,000 to $800,000. So what I'm tossing around is doing this road with the road department money and finding another road that we can do with state aid money that maybe not be as long as this one. I think we can serve more people with better roads if we do it this way. And it don't matter. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to go through there and we're going to spot level it with whatever leveling it needs. And then we're going to come back with a 165 pound or an inch and a half of topping. And so you're going to get the same road. I think we can do it cheaper by doing it with our money. That's not written in stone. Keep that in mind. We've
That's part of our district, fourth district there.
yeah.
I've had a lot of complaints on that, and I asked that question before. They went through and replaced, I think, a lot of the tiles. Then they put gravel in, compacted as good as they could, and never did go back and pave it.
Right.
So that was the problem. I can't understand why they start something like that unless they plan on finishing. But and I couldn't understand that because this happened several months back.
Yeah.
And
I hate it happened that way. I do.
And,
I really
they
do.
predicted it's going to be $1 million project, and I don't know why they started unless they planned on finishing it, but they did. So it's been a complaint of people in my district. I know that because I travel that road.
We could have started it, but when I got here, we have two pavers. One of them was in Chattanooga in the shop and had been there for quite a while. And they tell me that it's been nothing but trouble. It's been in the shop more than it's been at the road department. So we only had the other paver. So I hated to start that without a backup. But we do have it back, and we're going to get it out here in a day or two and try it out and see. But I hated to start a big project without a backup paver. And at that time, when I got here, we were manpower short as well. We were a little under half staff, so we didn't have the manpower to do it either. But we'll get it. It comes spring, early summer, sometime there.
I think letter I, we go over that one with, I think that takes care of our agenda items.
What about the 15th Street no recommendation. Our practice is you all make recommendations to the commission to approve no parking signs.
Okay. For the 15th Street signs over there. 15th.
Lori, if you would, let me read the law on that, because
Okay.
the law may say that that's the road superintendent's call. And I'm not, you know, using my authority to overmind anybody, but I would never make something like a three-way stop or putting up a stop sign without I had the approval of the support of the committee, okay? But I think that the law may read that, that falls within the road superintendent's thing.
That's just how they've done.
I hope it don't. I hope it falls where they gotta make a decision on it.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll find that
Yeah.
out hopefully this afternoon.
We'll hold that one then and at next meeting. Anybody have anything else? Okay. Mhm. Was that come through Bates Pike and?
Got truck traffic, hauling rock and pavement and everything else, and everybody uses that road. So, I think at one time Vulcan helped a little on that road, didn't they? Do you remember that, Tom, or did they?
I
well,
don't remember if they did or
They
not.
probably won't.
We can,
Not unless you buy something from them, they probably won't do that.
well, we
But,
buy their rock, so.
Yeah. But anyway, it's terrible because, if you're out there and, yeah, they trucks going in and out of that place all the time, and that road, it tears it up.
We can look at it. I can look at it. Y'all can look at it. We can, but I'm honest, we probably not gonna be doing no paving until spring.
We'll do that.
So I'll just tell them, I guess.
Right. If it was bad enough that, you know, it's gonna cause wrecks, we'll run out there. I don't care how cold it is, but I'm assuming it ain't that bad if you only, yeah, hog wallers, what we call
Yeah,
it.
it's just
Yeah.
hog wallered out, that's what it is.
This has been a lengthy meeting, I know, but it's good to get with the new superintendent and his assistants and everyone here to kind of get through everything. Does anyone else have anything else that you can think of? Tom, y'all got anything?
No,
Shannon?
I think we've covered it.
No. Yes.
On the kind of close to the first one you was talking about where they messed the man's driveway up and they put the wrong tile with size tile in and going on to private property, would that be something you might could look at a contractor? I know it would have to come out of your budget
It could, I mean,
to a contractor to where if something happened, it would be on them.
yeah. The thing about this county is we don't have a lot of small contractors. You know, the guy that's got a mini excavator and a truck, little dump truck, you know, that can go out and do stuff. We've got, you know, Wright Brothers, Simpsons. We got the bigger ones, but we don't have the smaller contractors. Do we?
They're in Chattanooga, and I know it.
Oh, they're in Chattanooga. Yeah, well,
You can give you a bid.
right. Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility.
I mean, if it saves you money and keeps the county from getting sued,
Yeah.
that's huge.
Well, the county probably wouldn't get sued. Tom Collins probably go to jail.
Well, I'd
Hey,
like,
it's serious business. I mean, I laugh about it, but you know, if I go out to Howard's property and he wants me to dig him a pond out there behind his house, no. If I go out there and somebody squeals on me, and I don't know who the people would be to determine how much that costs to do that, but if it's $10,000 or more, I have committed a felony. I will lose my retirement, I'll lose my job, I'll be fined I don't know how much money, and possibly jail time. And I know that sounds like it's not reality, but it actually happened to a guy up in northeast Tennessee. It was a case where he was actually doing work to help the public. A guy had complained about pulling out of his driveway because there was a hill there. They couldn't see the traffic coming. He took the equipment, he laid that hill back. Just so happened that the district attorney up there didn't like him. So they take him to court. They found him guilty of over $10,000. He lost his job, lost his retirement, everything. So it can be reality. So if somebody comes to you and wants Tom to do something, just tell him, say, I know Tom won't do it. if there's a possibility of that.
If all hearts and minds are cleared, one thing me and Tom had talked about last week is we're going to start looking at Wednesdays, like at 9 a.m. That way, do it early. That way, and run into everybody's lunch, and we can get more things done. 9 a.m. And this one was a long length one. I apologize for that, but it's good to be out and talking and getting familiar with each other and know what we can get done. And I'm like that too. I'm going to always do everything the legal way and the right way. I don't want to get road department or any other branch that's in with the county, including the county commissioners also. If that's all,